Welcome back, everybody, to season 2 of Well Life Wednesday.
Yay, yay,
We
yay.
are super excited to be back. We're coming back at the right time because you know what we're celebrating this month? Black History.
Awesome.
And so this is the perfect time to come back. I am your co host, Christy, licensed clinical mental health counselor supervisor.
I'm your other co host, Iris, your licensed clinical addiction specialist associate. And we're so glad to have you with us today.
Yes, we are. And you know what we're talking about this week, Iris?
What's that, Christy?
We're talking about when coping skills aren't enough. Yes, I said it. Coping skills that sometimes there aren't enough.
And Christy, sometimes you've done breathing exercises, you journal, you have prayed, you walk, you have talked, and you even try to think positive, and you still feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly, Iris. And we need to normalize that experience because there are moments in life when coping skills help, but there are also moments when coping skills aren't enough by themselves. Not because you're weak now, but because the weight you're carrying requires deeper support.
So today, everyone, we're going to unpack what that means, what to do next, and how to recognize when it's time to stop pushing through and to start reaching out.
That's good, Iris. Before we jump in, though, a quick reminder. This podcast is for education and encouragement. It is not therapy and it doesn't replace professional help. If you are experiencing thoughts of harming yourselves or others, please call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or go to your nearest emergency room because you know what? Your life matters.
Yes. And as always, we're speaking with compassion. There's no judgment. We're just being taking real love. We want you to be feeling with love.
Now let's jump into it. So, Iris, let's start here. When we say coping skills, what are we talking about?
Coping skills are tools for mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual practices that can help you regulate your stress, manage your emotions, and reduce stress. These are ways that you can help cope.
Okay. And coping skills are powerful, right?
Yes.
We teach them in therapy all the time. But one thing people don't realize is that coping skills are not supposed to remove every problem, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They don't erase grief and they don't undo trauma.
That's true. They don't change toxic relationships overnight.
Definitely not.
They don't magically cure depression or anxiety. They help you stay grounded while you face real life.
That's it. I like that. Grounded while you face real life. And sometimes life becomes so heavy, coping skills feel like trying to stop a flood with a towel.
Mm,
Now, picture that,
that part.
a flood with a single itty bitty towel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the signs, okay? Because this is important. People will say coping skills don't work. We've heard that. I've heard it several times.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what they mean is they are feeling overwhelmed. So, here are some signs that your coping skills aren't enough right now.
Okay.
You're coping all day, every day. You wake up already tired.
Mm-hmm.
You're spending your whole day trying to manage symptoms. That means you're not getting anything done. You're just trying to survive,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And there's you're functioning and dropping. You're not eating. You're not sleeping. You're not bathing,
Mm,
cleaning, or going to work, or keeping appointments. Christy, so often in the field that we work in, you hear a client say they're not motivated to do anything, and this is what it sounds like. They're
yeah.
not even motivated to, like you say, do their hygiene, to take care of themselves
Hmm.
physically, not sleeping and eating. When you're not having any of those things, that's when, like I say, depression sits in.
Correct.
You, you're not motivated.
You can't do your daily living task functions, your normal everyday functions. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we hear people, I can't even get out of bed. And a
Right.
lot of times, people around them are looking at them as lazy, good for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's deeper than that, right? You're using unhealthy coping by drinking, overeating, isolating, doom
Mm-hmm.
scrolling. You're trying to find any and everything that's negative to support how you feel. Spending money you don't have, impulsive buying, angry outbursts. These are all signs.
Here's another sign. When you feel numb and hopeless, you don't feel like yourself, nothing brings you joy, and you're surviving and not living.
That's, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
surviving and not living. Your body is taking frequent headaches. You're having chest tightness, rapid heart rate, stomach issues, chronic fatigue. Your nervous system is overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do nothing because you got all these physical ailments you're trying to deal with and manage throughout the day. That's a lot.
Right. And then your coping skills don't stick. You do the deep breathing, but 10 minutes later, you're right back in panic mode.
It's pointless. And we need to say this clearly. Coping skills not being enough does not mean you're failing.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens sometimes. Whatever you're going through, everything you're trying, it ain't working. That's
Mm-hmm.
life. It just means your needs have increased. And if I can put a pin right there, if your needs are increasing, that means that you've already done the work to propel yourself out of what you have faced earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's already progress. You're not even in that same space you were before. So now where I'm at, I have more things that I have to do, more things that I need, and it requires a little bit more support
Mm-hmm.
because this is the first time I've been in this space, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I got to figure out how to manage it because it's new to me. Why? Sometimes you have to even shift the way you're thinking about stuff.
That's true.
Yes, it might be overwhelming, but I haven't been here before. So let me go get some help with somebody who has and show me how to navigate this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get clinical for a minute, Iris.
Okay.
There are reasons coping skills feel ineffective. One major reason you may be trying to use a skill des- designed for mid to moderate stress in a severe stressful situation.
That's good.
Just like we said before, the flood and the towel. We're in a flood situation. This is severe.
Mm-hmm.
Me going to get a towel as if I spilt some coffee or a puddle of water on the floor, that a towel will suffice, right?
Mm-hmm. But a flood.
A flood? No, we got to get a boat. we got to get a ship, even a canoe, something to help get us through this. So you have to think about that. The coping skills you used before in a minor situation was
Mm-hmm.
effective, but this is a bigger scale. This is a grander scale. So I might need a little bit more support. That's all I'm saying.
Or you may be using coping skills in a life environment that's still unsafe.
Mhm.
You can't breathe your way through ongoing abuse.
Right.
You can't journal your way out of poverty. You can't meditate your way through a home environment that's chaotic. So if your home chaotic, what you doing meditating? You can't meditate in a chaotic space, can you?
No, you can't. You can't. Chaos, right? If I imagine a chaotic situation, we talking about the kids running, everybody going all over the place. Nobody has direction. Husband ain't there, wife ain't there. Nobody's there to help relieve or manage this situation. I got job duties, mother, father duties. I got maybe church duties. I can
Mm-hmm.
maybe have caregiving duties. And I'm supposed to. Everybody's pulling me from different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm an octopus, but I only got two arms.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes stopping and meditating ain't gonna fix that.
And deep breathing through abuse ain't gonna fix it either.
No.
So in abusive situation, you have to find um, help that's going to help you maneuver through this difficult
Get out
time
of
to
it.
get out of this.
Get out of that now. Now you can breathe on your way to
That's
go
too
get
severe.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I would breathe on my way to get help. But I'm
yes.
not gonna be in an abusive situation deep breathing. No.
Mm-hmm.
No matter if it's physical, verbal, emotional, any of that, I have to get help. If I can't get out of this, now it's strenuous, right? It's severe.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was minor, the early dating, it was just minor. You heard the little sly, slick remarks, the disrespectful stuff.
Right.
Okay, I can manage that. I'm gonna breathe through it. Lord, give me space to get through it. But now it's moved up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's physical. And I'm hearing this day in and day out. Deep
Right.
breathing ain't gonna fix that. I got to get on out of here. Or get connected with somebody who's gonna help me get out of here.
Right.
These are situations where regular coping skills just doesn't work. Now, another big piece is trauma. If someone's nervous system is in survival mode, we can't just tell them to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Think about surviving. We're in a situation where I'm surviving. That means by any means necessary.
Right.
Telling me to calm down in that situation is going to take me over the edge. What am I calming down for? I have nothing. There is no calm. Everything is chaos and hectic.
Mm-hmm.
What you telling me to calm down gonna do? I'm still in this situation. It's severe. Telling a person in an abusive situation to calm down. How that work? Telling a person who is homeless to calm down. How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for me when you tell me to calm down? So we have to think about how we react to people, what we speak into people's lives when they're
Right.
in these type of situations. Because we have these automatic response. Calm down is an automatic response. Don't cry. We do that all the time. Why are we telling people not to cry, to stop crying? It's a natural emotion, a behavior to situations. You telling them to stop crying is supposed to do what? Are you telling them that to make you feel better or because you're uncomfortable?
That's normally what it is.
Correct. So we just have to be mindful of those things.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, trauma lives in the body. If your body has learned that you're in a safe position,
Hmm.
coping skills has to be paired with treatment, your community, and often long-term healing work.
That's very
Trauma
true.
is something, like you said, that's nothing you're going to get over overnight. It's a
Hmm.
process. You have to get help from your community, and like you said, it's a long-term healing work. We have to put the work in.
You're right, Iris, because trauma is different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You have people who are molested, raped, abused, beaten, um, mistreated. There's different levels to trauma. And what might work for someone's minor trauma, which we say it might not be minor to them, it might be
Right.
minor to us, might not the tools and coping skills might not work for somebody who experienced severe trauma day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be different for everyone. And so when you're dealing with trauma that's untreated, you have to talk to people about getting treatment because handling that alone is not going to be effective. You have to think about how long that abuse lasted,
Mm-hmm.
what that did to you. If you could handle it alone, you wouldn't have the title of trauma. You would go on about your life and it wouldn't affect you in any way.
Right.
But when we're talking about people, children who have been traumatized, women abused have been traumatized, men in jail traumatized, and then trying to go on with their daily living and become fully functioning adults is not always the case because they never walked through it in a healthy space.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have to learn how to be healthy after experiencing something like that. How do
Right.
I go on to live a quote normal life? And what normal is what's normal for you. Because my normal and your normal will be different, right? Especially if we grew up in different times,
Mm-hmm.
um, different environments. Normalcy is different for different people. And so a lot of times when we say people, that's not normal. For who? For who?
Right.
How do we know in their environment that was normal for them?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen in yours. So you have to give people grace when it comes to different things, because until they know better, they do better.
That's so true.
We be just so quick to say things sometimes just because it's not what we experienced. So here is the so coping skills are like a band-aid. But if you have a broken bone, you need more than a first aid,
Mm-hmm.
right? We ain't gonna pull out a first aid kit for somebody experiencing a heart attack or a diabetic shock. What's in that kit ain't gonna help.
Right.
We need a little bit more severe treatment
Mm-hmm.
than that. And a lot of times, all we're doing in life when we don't really get the help or ask for help, we just put band-aids on top of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a wound that keeps festering. It can and at some point, continuing to cover something up, it doesn't heal correctly.
Has to breathe sometimes.
It got to breathe, right? You got to get some fresh air, some light, some sunlight to that thing in order for it to go through the process of healing, because a wound has to now create a scab.
Mm-hmm.
The scab has to heal and harden.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in order for there not to be a scar, you might have to put some ointment on it, like neosporin, to get rid of it. So, there's different levels to healing. That's what I was trying to say. So, here's the big question after I said all that. What do you do when coping skills aren't enough, Iris? That's what they're saying. Like they're saying, season one, you told us to identify coping skills and use them.
Mm-hmm.
This season, we're telling you it's yes, that is true. But sometimes, depending on your situation, coping skills might not be enough. So, what do they do when it's not? First, you name it. Say I'm overwhelmed. I need more help. Last year, you were identifying that you were overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we want you to now ask for help about it. That's good, right?
That's
Last year we was trying to get people just to see this is what mental health is.
right.
Some people didn't even know they had mental health issues. Not mental illness,
But mental health
but
issues.
mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now that we have identified that, this season we want to talk about what's the next step. Go ahead, sis.
And the next one is stop shaming yourself. Some people may say, I'm supposed to be strong, but strength also looks like reaching out. There's no weak, the weakness is when you don't ask for help.
Right.
It's okay. Like you said, we have to normalize to ask for help. We so often think we can do it on our own. And then sometimes we make a mess when we do it on our own. Um, we don't follow the directives that we're supposed to. But if we ask for help with some people that know how to get us from point A to point B, things will be better.
That's right.
So yeah, make it normal for us to ask for help.
That's right. So here's the I guess the third thing you would say is increase support. That could mean therapy, medication evaluation, intensive outpatient treatment, case management, community support services, support groups,
Mm-hmm.
faith based counseling, community resources. There's so many things, systems out here, supports and resources for you to navigate how to get through different situations. You don't have the point is you don't have to do this alone.
Then reduce your demands. Sometimes healing requires scaling back, and we have a lot of people have a problem with this. Have fewer obligations.
Mhm.
Stop people pleasing. Start setting boundaries. Rest and say no.
That's good.
Fewer obligations. Stop the people pleasing. Set your boundaries. Rest and say no. Now for me, I don't have no problem with none of these. The main one is rest, because I'm obligated to get my rest.
I'm overstatement. When I tell you, if I don't do nothing else,
I'm a rest.
I'm a rest. Because the thing is, in order for me to be great in all these other avenues, all these other hats that I wear, all these other titles that we may have, in order for me to give 100% to those things, I have to have rest. And in order for me to be great at those things, I have to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be all and do all with any of those titles that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to, whatever the task is, whatever the deadline is, I'm going to give you that. And then I'm going to clock out, whether that is at the office, my hobbies, church, any other groups that I might be affiliated in. I'm going to clock out and I'm going to take care of me.
It's
Because
important.
do you not want the best of me? You don't want me to people. I'm not a yes person. You don't want me to people please you. I'm not going to, because that's not what you need, and it ain't what I need. Saying no is really easy for me, because if it's outside my wheelhouse, I'm gonna say no because it'll be a disservice to not only me but you too.
Right.
Because if I don't have it to give, I shouldn't be in that position anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can do more harm than good, right? And fifth is safety planning. If you are experiencing suicidal thoughts, self harm urges, or panic episodes that feel unmanageable, this isn't just stress, people. It's urgent. Call 988, tell someone you trust, or go to the urgent care or your nearest ER, because that means you're in a serious situation and you need some more support.
That's good. And also want to bring this to the people attention. Sometimes through, especially through the addiction lens, because I'm a substance abuse specialist, a lot of people deal with relapse, not because they want to, but because their coping skills have stopped working.
Okay.
They're under chronic emotional pain, and if you're using substances or thinking about it, don't just tell yourself I should have more willpower.
Okay.
You have to give yourself grace. You dealing with substance abuse, it's a disease.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So a lot of times people don't understand where they're coming from and they kind of like burn their bridges, but they need that support from the people that they love, but also getting treatment. So I just want to share that with the people, especially when it comes to substance abuse.
And if you look at it from the lens of the family members, the friends, or the peers, like Ira said, it's a disease. And so, giving, not only should the user give themselves or the person in recovery give themselves grace, but the family, friends, and peers should give them grace as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was easy as one, two, three, they would have stopped.
Right.
If it was easy as one, two, three, they would continue to manage on their own. But it's a second by second, minute by
Yes, it
minute.
is.
It is a daily walk when you're dealing with addiction and
Mm-hmm.
recovery and sobriety.
Yes. So true.
Anything could easily trigger them. And so give people grace in that sense. Even though you might not understand it, to say, I'm here to support you now. Do you have to become an enabler? No.
No, most definitely not. That's only going to set things back.
Right. And then we can go back to setting boundaries too. I love you. I don't understand your addiction, but I can't allow it in my space. That is fine to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for that person to deal with that. Right? That's all I want to say,
And
Iris.
also, when it comes to that, they have to ask themselves, especially during the relapse part, what pain am I dealing with that has been untreated? What supports am I missing? And what need has been unmet? Because relapse is often a symptom of deeper distress.
That's good.
So I want to say that again. Most of the time is what pain has been untreated, what support is missing, and what need has been unmet. And oftentimes, if you hear people talk about what ones that's recovering, either they lost their job
Mm-hmm.
or they didn't have finances. Everything got taken away from them, so that's what they resorted went to.
Right. That's true. And then when you're dealing with sobriety, too, Iris, um, it could be because now they're navigating the world through clear, sober lenses,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so where they used to be able to function high, now they're trying to navigate their daily living or their jobs or
Right.
social um, interactions and community engagement. They're trying to navigate this sober,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be overwhelming
Yes.
when you've been doing it in a fog,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we have to know that at times they need to know that during these times when you're walking through your sobriety, you have to have support.
Yes.
Because if you could manage it on your own, we wouldn't have been here in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes coping skills aren't enough because you need detox support. You need medicated assisted treatment, relapse prevention counseling, or sober support networks. You have to have people when you are triggered to be able to call and say, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
this new to me. I feel like I'm about to turn down the wrong road. I feel like I want to use.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we say link with support groups. I know I've heard people say, don't nobody want to hear, I don't want to hear them stories day in and day out. I already lived it. I understand that. But you haven't lived the sober life.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to be around like minded people who are trying to do the same thing.
That's so true.
And then be around people who are just, they have never even picked up drugs or alcohol and they are living their life just
Mm-hmm.
fine. These are the circles that you need to surround yourself in order to maintain your recovery.
That's true.
And we talked about making sure and all in that give people grace, right? So
Most
let's
definitely.
give our listeners some next level tools. It's basic coping. If basic coping skills isn't enough, try co-regulation. You don't have to regulate alone.
Mm-hmm.
Call someone, sit with someone safe, let your nervous system settle in connection. I like that. I want to say it again. Let your nervous system settle in connection.
And let's talk about structure and routine. When emotions feel chaotic, structure stabilizes.
Hmm.
When you don't have structure, it can be chaotic and overwhelming.
Facts.
So you want to have a wake up time, you want to have meals, you want to have your medications, you want to have movement and bed. So you want to have a set bed time, wake up time. You want to make sure you're eating
Hmm.
because you need to make sure you're nourished up, and you want to take your medications consistently
Right.
to stabilize you and moving. Do not isolate yourself to give you time to think about things. Um, that's what depression and all that can sit in.
Right.
So if you need, like you said, go out and get in some type of groups, sit on the front porch, interact with some people, positive people, and then also, like I said, set a bedtime schedule.
That's good, Iris. Somatic coping. Trauma is in the body. So when you have experienced trauma and severe, there's certain things you can do to reset yourself, I can say. Cold water in the face is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one I think some people who have anxiety, panic attacks. Cold water in the face. Butterfly tapping. Progressive muscle relaxation. Stretching. Walking outside, grounding, 5 4 3 2 1, yoga. There's different things, there's different things that you can try when you have experienced trauma in the body. And these are called somatic coping, different things you can do to reset yourself and get back grounded.
And then also, you can get professional support plans.
Facts.
Therapy is not just talking. It's a treatment planning, it's a process, it's accountability, safety assessments, and skill building.
That's good. And remember, Medication is not a weakness, it is support, like insulin is for diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your brain needs stabilization so you can use coping skills again. And I tell a lot people a lot of times, just because you start medication doesn't mean you're going to be on it your whole life.
Right.
Sometimes people just need it to balance themselves or to get through a transition period. Some people, we know we have people who struggle with taking tests. And so maybe a month to 2 months before a test comes, they start taking medication to help calm their nerves and help them focus,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have students that are on IEP plans or 504 plans, and sometimes they struggle with attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity, those type of things. They need medication during school hours just to be able to get through and complete schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
I had parents who would have their children take their medication during school hours, and then when they come home, they have free reign, because that is a shock to the body to sit there um, for 8 hours and focus when without medication. You're normally running in circles,
Mm-hmm.
right? The brain is going faster than the body can go.
Right.
And a lot of people don't sit down to really educate themselves about what that really looks like. I had a parent ask me one time, how come they can function at school, but they come home and act like wild animals? Because the school system is structured, they have a plan. So if you don't want to medicate your children, you actually have to really implement a
Structure.
schedule structure in your home. And in order to exert that energy, put them into sports, something where
Some
they
type of
have
activity.
activity where they have to um, release some of that.
That
There's different
energy.
thing in thank you, Iris, energy. There's different things you can do to offset that instead of taking medication.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that medication does not work. It does. Some kids are going to need it. No matter how much structure you have, they still need that extra um, uh, chemical or whatever you want
Support.
to say in order to be able to complete things,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. And let's let me speak to the listener who feels discouraged. Okay. We've talked about everything. We gave you tips, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
If coping skills aren't enough right now, it doesn't mean you're broken. You're not broken. It means you're human. We all are. And we all go through things. Some of us just have different coping skills and are able to manage a little easier. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know that you deserve support. Nobody had the whole point of this is that you don't have to do any of this alone. And I think when we think that, it becomes overwhelming, and we can't even get past that sensation, that overwhelming feeling, to get to the next phase of how do I get through this?
Right. And I want to say to that too, Christy. Needing help doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're learning what your healing
That's
requires.
good.
You're not losing, you're just learning what your healing requires.
And there's no shame in needing
None
therapy,
at all.
Iris.
Not at all.
There's no shame in needing medication.
Nope.
And there is no shame in needing a higher level of care. It's not. Like you said before, the shame comes in when you don't ask for any of this. You don't
Mhm.
get the help.
There's only wisdom in refusing to suffer in silence.
Say that one more time.
There is only wisdom in refusing to suffer in silence.
Refusing to suffer in silence. So if this episode spoke to you, share it with somebody who might need it. And if you're not following Well Life Wednesday, you know what we want you to do? Go ahead and subscribe. Click that like button so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes this season.
And drop a comment or message us what topics you want to hear next because we're here for your healing journey.
That's right. And remember, you don't have to do life alone.
because you matter.
You're worthy. And guess what? We'll
We'll
see
see
you
you
next
next
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you.